The opening seconds of Fashion Week 2025 were nothing short of seismic, not because of the usual industry chaos, but because the runway itself became the stage for one man, Jungkook of BTS. The moment his name echoed through the venue, the atmosphere shifted. Applause erupted into deafening cheers, cameras flashed in blinding unison, and a chorus of voices from fans around the world surged like a tidal wave through the hall. What was meant to be just another elite fashion showcase transformed instantly into a once-in-a-generation cultural event. And one question hung heavy in the air. Was this still Fashion Week, or had it become Jungkook's personal stage? Industry veterans stood frozen, fashion editors held their breath, and influencers scrambled to capture every angle of the scene as Jungkook appeared at the far end of the catwalk. Dressed in a look that balanced modern elegance with raw edge, he didn't just walk, he commanded. Every step was calculated yet effortless, every glance piercing and deliberate, and every subtle shift of posture sent a ripple of energy through the crowd. The audience wasn't just watching a model, they were witnessing a global icon redefining what a runway moment could mean. What made this appearance different from his previous fashion collaborations was the sheer scale of the audience. The venue had been filled to capacity long before the event began, but when word spread that Jungkook was about to walk, thousands of ARMY outside the building began chanting his name, their voices bleeding through the walls. Security was forced to reinforce barriers as the sidewalks swelled with fans holding banners, phones, and light sticks, turning the streets into a purple sea of devotion. Inside, journalists could hardly hear their own thoughts over the continuous roar that greeted Jungkook's every movement. Observers couldn't ignore the way the room's energy changed compared to the other celebrities in attendance. Several A-list actors, models, and designers had walked before him, but none had generated a fraction of this reaction. It was as though the entire show had been designed as a prelude to his entrance. When Jungkook reached the center of the runway and paused, time seemed to stop. For a full 5 seconds, no one even breathed. Then the crowd detonated in the loudest cheer of the night. Phones shook, cameras clicked, and some attendees openly wiped away tears. Fashion critics, who usually maintain a measured tone, couldn't hide their excitement. Several could be seen standing and applauding, while others frantically typed notes, aware they were watching a pivotal moment in pop culture. This wasn't just a walk, one attendee was overheard saying. It was a declaration. Jungkook isn't just a guest here, he is the show. Designers backstage reportedly looked on with admiration, some even nodding in recognition that the attention of the global media had shifted entirely to him. ARMY's presence was impossible to ignore. They came from every continent, some traveling for days to witness this single moment. Their chants were perfectly synchronized, their banners coordinated, and their energy unwavering. At one point, the chanting outside the venue grew so loud that it drowned out the music inside, forcing organizers to raise the sound system's volume. And yet, no one complained. Instead, several attendees remarked that the passion of the fans gave the show a once-in-a-lifetime atmosphere, something no ordinary runway could replicate. As the show continued, Jungkook didn't fade into the background. He remained the focal point. When he exited the runway, cameras followed him backstage, where a few lucky reporters caught glimpses of him interacting with designers and fellow models. The footage quickly went viral, with millions of views within minutes. The #less social media trend of the night revolved entirely around one man's walk, with phrases like "Jungkook owns Fashion Week" and "Runway King" dominating feeds worldwide. More remarkable was how Jungkook's impact extended beyond just fandom culture. Market analysts noted that every brand he wore experienced immediate spikes in online traffic, with several fashion houses seeing record search surges before the show had even ended. This was no longer just a celebrity appearance, it was an economic phenomenon. His influence moved markets, shaped trends, and dictated what would sell in the coming months. The emotional weight of the moment wasn't lost on Jungkook himself. Observers described his expression as calm, yet deeply focused, almost as though he was fully aware of the magnitude of what was happening around him. When he reached the end of the runway for the final time and turned back to face the crowd, a small, subtle smile broke across his face. It was enough to send the audience into another frenzy, confirming that he had not only delivered, but surpassed every expectation. Industry insiders have already begun speculating about what this appearance means for the future of fashion shows featuring global pop stars. Some believe that this could signal a new era, where musicians are no longer just front-row guests, but integral participants, even redefining what it means to headline a runway. Others argue that Jungkook has set a new bar that will be nearly impossible for future shows to match. But perhaps the most striking takeaway was how completely the event belonged to him. While dozens of models and celebrities walked the same runway that night, only one name was on everyone's lips as they left the venue. Conversations spilled into the streets, fans continued chanting for hours after the show ended, and social media platforms struggled to keep up with the volume of uploads and live streams. What happened at Fashion Week 2025 will be studied not only as a pop culture milestone, but as a case study in global influence. Jungkook transformed a traditionally exclusive, industry-focused event into a public spectacle that merged fashion, music, and fandom into a single, unforgettable experience. And as the lights dimmed and the venue finally emptied, one fact was undeniable. This was no ordinary runway. It had become Jungkook's runway, and the world had just witnessed the moment it happened. Even after the final look left the runway, the energy inside the venue refused to settle. Reporters who had covered dozens of fashion weeks whispered among themselves, admitting that nothing in their careers had prepared them for the scale of this reaction. Several PR teams struggled to regain control of the press pit as journalists clamored for statements and photos, desperate to file their stories before the moment passed. It was clear that the narrative of Fashion Week 2025 had been rewritten in real time, and Jungkook was the headline. Outside, the scene was just as electrifying. Fans who had been unable to secure seats inside created their own second runway experience on the streets. Some stood on barricades, holding up posters and LED boards, while others blasted BTS music through portable speakers, singing along at full volume. The crowd's chants of Jungkook's name echoed down the avenues of the fashion capital, drawing the attention of passers-by who had no idea a show was even happening. The police presence, initially stationed only as a precaution,